Hello, friends. How's everybody doing? This me again. It's me. I'm here in front of my easel. Actually, I'm behind the camera because I'm still standing, kind of like Elton John. But I've got a big canvas up there, a big one, 24 by 36. I'm going to paint one that may be familiar to you, or it may not be. But we'll see what happens. So let's get to it. I've already got liquid white on the canvas. Let's see if I can get my crazy hair out of the way. Hopefully you don't have to look at me all night, but bigger canvas. You may see more of my head in the shots. And hopefully this microphone will keep working well. Alright, I'm going to grab a 2-inch brush. And I mixed up Prussian blue and brown. Actually, I had burnt umber. So this is one I have never painted. So we'll see what we think. Alright, big canvas. It's going to take a while here. Let's just kind of bounce around here and just throw some of this up here. I love this kind of hue that it has. It's like a green. Just throwing some of this up here. Just a little bit of this in the sky, and then we'll actually put on some clouds and things. Again, this big canvas. I haven't painted on a really big canvas in a while. I need to get one of those 4x4s out and go at it. Put a little bit over here. Hoping my liquid white kind of stays wet. Should. Hope everybody's well. If you're watching and you're waiting for the storm of the century is what it gets repeated as, it looks like on TV sometimes. Snow everywhere it looks like. But I doubt we'll get any. If we do, I'll be happy. I like snow. I really do. I'm just kind of setting this down as I'm going. Those little X strokes. But if you're out in the snow, or you're in the path of any snow or ice or anything, be safe, stay safe, charge up your phones tonight. If you've got flashlights, get batteries in those things. And you didn't know this painting would turn into a public service announcement, did you? It just did. We just went there. It's okay. Alright. Let's get that light on more. Let's get that thing out of my eyes a little bit. Alright. And I'm going to try to lean back here. I'll have to get up some and kind of look and make sure we get the whole painting in the frame here. And we do. Good. Whew. That's a big one. And no jokes about what somebody might have said. So, alright. I want it darker. I'm kind of painting one of Bob's, but I don't want to just copy it. I like changing it up myself, and I like this green. This looks like the one that he did on the TV show versus the one in the books. It's a little more blue. I love this color, though. I want to make it darker. Yeah, and we're also going to throw some clouds up in here. Maybe I'll just grab my fan brush here and go at it here just a second. Just throw in some color. Can't hurt anything. 2 colors really. You've got the blue and the brown in the paint, so that made 1 color. I guess it took 2 to make the one. You could just use the brown and white. You could do black and white. So you could use literally a 1-color painting, because I never consider white a color when I'm sitting here talking about the colors. I'm just going to swirl in some things here. I'm going to leave a good bit of the white showing for now. I'm going to spend, you want a hint? I'm going to spend way too long on this sky. I just tell you that. I'm going to spend way too long on this guy. I'm going to grab just a cheap brush here. I'll just lay in here and just kind of blend this out a little bit here. Starting from the bottom and working my way up. Swirls and all kinds of little things going on here. There we go. Let's make sure we got enough in that corner. But still, you can still see a lot of that white. And that is what I want. Okay. You probably won't see any sky below here, so it doesn't really matter. Even if you did, it wouldn't matter anyway, would it? We wouldn't get onto each other. Let's grab us a fan brush here. And let's just play. You can't play too much because you only got one color. Let's just play. I hope this microphone's not hitting my shirt and going shh on you guys. I'm just going to throw some stuff up here that really a little bit darker. This is one good one if you have like somebody with colorblind, maybe. You know, you may have heard that one before. That episode. Yeah, some wild clouds here. I'm gonna just throw some of these up here. Just something, just go crazy. I want to leave some pockets of light though. We don't want to fill up the sky with just these dark shapes and be too ominous. Well, we do want something up here though, I think. The brush that I really like for clouds is I'm using a fan brush. A filbert. So we may grab that here in a second. I'm going to try not to spend all night on these clouds because they really don't matter. That's not what most people look at in this painting here. I don't think. There we go. Let's blend just a little bit. I'll grab just a 1" for this because it's clean. Knock down the bottoms of those clouds as we typically do. Maybe get rid of that little thing there. Not every cloud needs a tail. Something like that. One thing I would always tell folks is you don't always have to knock clouds down. Sometimes clouds look wild and fluffy and for lack of a better word for me, just very sharp. So they've got a lot of little things going on in them. And if you blend them to death, sometimes you lose that natural looking cloud shape. See, kind of like that. Let's just leave most of that. Move it around a little bit. Up here, just meander. Maybe there's some little things kind of going around there. Who knows? We're just having fun. I hadn't painted in a while. Taking a break. I have a feeling I'm going to be painting a lot here soon, so taking a little break. Squeaky chair back here. And taking a break, hoping for snow. Maybe if I paint something cold, it'll snow really big. I like snow. I'm sorry. I don't like losing power. We lost power last time we had snow, so if we can avoid that, we will. That's just always a good thing. See, I pulled a sneaky on the snow. I bought me a big battery to have, so it should be fine. Be fine to leave it just like that, and you can be happy, and you can say that's wonderful, and jump up and down with joy. I want to just play with the filbert tonight a little bit. I want that to be a little bit bigger. I like that little pocket right in there. Maybe just put a little bit more on that guy. And just, we won't see much of this, but let's just It's actually moving that paint around really nice. It's almost picking up highlights there because it's moving around with the white paint underneath. Yeah, that's probably good. I've tinkered enough. I love that little section there. Just kind of diffuse it a little bit, maybe. Big storm coming here. Oh yeah. Can y'all see that? I don't know if I can't see the monitor to see if it's showing up on the camera. There's little pockets of little almost highlights in there. It almost looks like a wave in there. You get those cloud waves going on now, you better be running. Yeah, it's picking up that liquid white pretty good and moving it around. Yeah, I want to leave that pretty bright. Right in there. And I've even got another brush. Let's see how many. We'll put it on the screen here if I could. Give us a brush count. How many brushes can Bram dirty tonight? Painting what is really a fairly simple painting. I mean, really, not much to it. When you use see, for me it's easier when I use less colors. And some people might find it harder. For me, it's just easier. I don't have to worry about mixing up too much and figuring out what goes where and what should go over there and what should go over here and everything. But I got a little mop brush I'm using. This thing is great. Get you one of these. These are cheap. I mean, I think this was $8. Take care of it though. Don't clean this and whack it in your thinner or on your thinner rack or your beater rack. Just get a little thinner on a paper towel and just kind of lightly brush across it, and that'll be enough because you're not picking up a ton of paint with this guy. You're just not. There we go. Just gonna set these down until I'm satisfied. It's my painting, so I can take as long as I want, right? One of these days, I may get faster. Step back and look at your stuff occasionally. Make sure you've got what you want. Like, let's say, right in this area, I intended to keep it a little lighter. You could take a little white and put it back in there. This wasn't a clean brush. Use a clean brush. I can trick it here. I got liquid white on this one. I can put that back in there, and it might be a little glow that I see. Alright, I think that's enough. We may put a couple little white highlights on there, just for... I just had to pause it there and look at it on the screen. Step back, again. You can't see it if you're, especially on that big of a canvas. A 2x3 here, I couldn't see enough of it to see if it looked good to me. I think it does. It looks fun. It's unusual when I think something I did looks fun. Let me wipe this little guy off here. I don't have one torn off, so I'll just use the whole roll. But when you're cleaning this, you can usually just, like a barely any thinner on the paper towel maybe, and just kind of, any of these soft bristled hair brushes, you don't want to dip in thinner like you would a normal brush. Just barely get a little thinner on a towel and just kind of do that, and that'll get enough off. Actually, if I had thinner on that towel, it would probably clean it completely. Yeah. Alright, do we want anything else in here? I love this color, and it's not going to look exactly as it does to me on my phone where you guys are seeing it. So it may look a little more blue to you, but it's actually a really pretty green. Can't even describe it. It's a cold green. I want to do one thing right here. I don't like that I got just a clump of darkness. Let's just bring a little detail out right there. I don't know if I'll see it even later on, but You know, something like that. And then what I want to do, let's see, I count them for you. I'm not going to show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 brushes. Here's 8. Now, are they dirty enough I have to go clean them before I can use them again? No. They're just dirty for each little step I'm doing right now. Once I get to the trees and everything, it'll be fine. And I have that luxury. I have tons of brushes, so if you can, probably smarter to be a little cleaner than I am. What if we had a little white one coming in there? If it will, I've got a lot of paint up there. Let's see. You may see it, you may not. I don't know. Yeah. There we go. You can always wipe that brush in between when you're working on clouds so you don't get your paint so dirty. I'm sorry, you don't pick up the green and put it back in your white, is what I'm trying to say. And the little white one up there, maybe. Told you I'd spent a long time on this guy. I knew I would. I know myself well enough to know that. I was going to kind of fluff that one out a little bit. There. I like being able to see that. This white is quite thick, so it's having a hard time kind of sticking over where I need it to stick, which that'll be an advantage here in a minute when we do our mountain, that we got thick white, but now it's getting a little tough to get it to stick on here. I like that. I don't know, I hope that shows up well. Make sure I turn the camera back on. Are we recording? We are. Yeah, that looks good. It's looking good. Heck, I mean, if we're doing it, we can do it right. Put one right here. It's a little closer to the light. I don't know. I don't even know where the light is in this painting. Because the man puts all of his highlights on this side, even though he says his bright spot's right there. So I'm going to do it the same way. Actually, I'm going to envision my lights over here somewhere. Make me feel better about myself. I figured that out. Oh, what's that? Oh, I don't know if I like that. Maybe a touch of bright showing up right in there. I don't know. We know we could always do this. We can always do this. Hold it this way. Put a little bright edge on that cloud, pretty thick. I'll blend that a little bit. Looks awful right now. I don't mind that this has a little bit of that dark color, but you can always wipe it off if you're worried about it. I just want a little bit of white in here. I don't want to overpower. I want to get rid of that, I know. There we go. Yeah. Leave that nice and bright right in there. Let's do something with this mess. Kind of blend it back a little bit. There's no wrong here, so whatever we decide is what we decide. Now, if you're sitting here with me, you could yell at me, tell me to stop. But you're not, so you're no help. I'm playing. I can just keep going with this guy. I want to get rid of that little dark spot there. I want that to be there. There we go. Let's just, I don't need to call this just for time. People are tuning out by now and be like, if that's all he's going to paint some ugly sky. Yeah. Well, you may be disappointed because I'm gonna keep going. I see some little areas I like to touch a little more. I want that to be brighter. So, and you can do this. You don't have to do your clouds all at once. You can go back and hit them again. It's okay. I'll give you permission. If you need a note, just tell me. There we go. Yeah, and then maybe with my dirty brush and no paint, maybe even just mix in some stuff, just kind of nondescript stuff in here. The base of these. It's going to make sense in a minute, I think. I need a little more dark right in here, so I'm just going to chunk up some there and leave it like that. Go here and grab our handy dandy little blender brush. Just kind of, those are colliding there. I don't know if you can see that. One thing you want to watch out for if you're using one of these smaller blender brushes is you can sometimes see those little circles you're making. So just make sure you kind of brush back over them a little bit. It'll look nicer. Yeah, there. A little bit more dark in there is what I wanted. I see one little area I'm going to highlight, and then I'm going to put a mountain on here, I promise. Yeah. Maybe you can get rid of this one. I don't care for it. It's a luxury we have. We don't like something, we get rid of it. Clean it away. If we had that in life, we'd all be in good shape. Alright. Somewhere in here needs it's like a continuation of this one, maybe. It's just kind of coming in here. Coming down there, maybe. To where we don't really see it. That way it looks like it's layers of clouds. To me. I don't know if y'all can see that. You do the same thing in here. There. Kind of billowing up on each other. And you notice one thing I don't do a lot of times on my clouds is pick them up. I just kind of leave them chunky on top. Remember, that's my prerogative. Like Bobby Brown. Alright, I like that. I like that. That's good. Let's pause the old camera and let me have a look here real quick. Well, I painted without the camera on. I'm sorry. Forgot to turn it back on. Alright. That's enough. That's enough. Let's call it. It looks like a seascape here at this point. I mean, like the waves. So I think we can leave it. We'll call it and say it's good enough. Being kind of loose and free with them is actually nice. Taking color and just putting it where we want it. Okay. Now we're going to paint some mountains and get serious about it. The time for playing is over. We're going to scoot this over a little bit so I can get to this side first. We're going to have a mountain right up in here. Eat up some of my clouds. So we're going to take that. I'll show you what that looks like. It's really dark. I don't know if y'all can see that. I mean, it is. I won't put it on the canvas. I was going to. Alright. So I'm going to take some of that. And I'm going to tone it down a little bit. Or tint it. Get some white and tint the white, I guess. I want this mountain to be further away than the other mountains. It needs to be dark enough for us to highlight. Not so dark it looks really close. It also has to be dark enough to show up in our to contrast with what I've already put up there. It can't be the same color as my sky. So I've got a little mixture here that I think will work. See that? And let's make sure the camera's not. Yeah, the camera's still in good position. We're recording. I'm not used to doing this size of canvas. I need a little foot pedal to turn off the recording or something. Alright. I think this guy lives up in here. Oh my goodness. This is scary. This is scary. Yep. We've just got a few little... I got all that paint up there from that cloud. It's going to mix with that. That might actually help us. Remember, just scrape that away. You don't have to worry about it. That needs to be a little darker, I think. I don't know about y'all, but I think it does. Pretty much, this is one of those steep mountains that you sometimes see painted. Not a ski slopey one, but this would be like one that you'd have to pay people to take you on a hike. They wouldn't let you go by yourself. And I never do the exact same shape as whoever I'm looking at or inspired by. But it'll be similar. I'm going to let it go almost all the way off the canvas here. Just kind of something like that. Yep, we'll just let it go off right there. And I am going to let this one kind of swoop down into the cloud there. Sort of like that. Let's scrape this off. Scrape, scrape, scrape. That noise always made me sleepy, so hopefully you don't go to sleep. Grab us a fairly clean brush here. I've got a cheap one here. It's not cheap. It's actually a good brush. We'll just kind of, for this one, we don't want it to be big. This one just kind of sits behind another one. We're going to have 3 or 4 mountain ranges here, so just kind of blend that out just a little bit. Well, I said it needed to come more straight down, didn't I? There we go. That comes more straight down, so would that. Make sure it kind of disappears back there. And then just kind of mist that out a little bit at the bottom. Yeah. I think that's dark enough. I'm a little concerned that it's not. We'll find out. I know if this white's too thick, it almost feels too thick. Nope, it's perfect. I don't want a lot of snow back there. I want it very, very sparse compared to what I would normally do here. Just kind of sitting back there. My head's not in the way. I got a big head. Can never find a hat to fit me. I'd like to think it's my brain size, but probably just because I got a big head. When I say that, I don't mean like an ego. I really don't have an ego, I don't think. If you have a big ego, do you know you have a big ego? Like, you know, if you got big feet, you know you got big feet. Yeah. You got big ears, you're probably like, I got big ears. If you got a big ego, though, do you know? I really don't know. You might have to tell me. I'm going to extend that out just a little bit. I want that to drop down a little more like that. There we go. I don't know if that looks right or not, but that's the way I'm going to do it. That's how I'm applying it. I hope this microphone is picking up pretty good because I'm speaking kind of softly. It is kind of late. I always paint late, so let's just make this a peak right here. One solid, one almost. Yeah, I think that'll work. We need a shadow color, and we're going to use some of the, remember we're using 2 colors here. We have no option to use anything else. So now we just got to make sure it's dark enough that it will be a shadow, but not too dark. Let's see if this will work. This almost looks like what's up here. We'll find out. See that? You're not really going to see that. Yeah, it needs to be lighter. Got to go lighter, but not white, to make it work. Let's see if this will work. That will work. I don't like that little peak I put in there, so I'm just going to put some shadow snow back over it. Then I'll turn my knife this way and just kind of run a little bit down that ridge and then kind of just go back over. It's just easier. Hey, somebody messaged me. Wow, what if it's one of you guys that are watching and you messaged me while I'm painting? You didn't know I was painting. Oh, my mind is blown. My mind is officially blown. Put a little bit back in there. And no, I've not been drinking. Well, that's looking okay. Okay. Honestly, that's probably good. That changed the shape of the mountain. I didn't really mean to, but I'm just going to go with it. If we put a little bit in here. Adds a little bit more there. Why do you guys ask what that noise is? Kind of sounds like, I don't know. It's when I touch the palette with the knife. It's not squeaky chair. Oh man. Squeaky chair's not squeaking. Not living up to his name tonight. There we go. I spent way too much time on that mountain, just like I did way too much time on the clouds. And I'm not done with that mountain, so gotta keep going. I'm gonna just kind of put a little more texture on it right there. I'm gonna clean up right there where I kind of went through. Actually, maybe just see some little peaks there that I want a little bit more right here. I may have to scrape. I got so much paint. There. That's a little more what I wanted. I don't care for that. I don't mind seeing a little bit of it. And I don't care for all of this. Since this is going to be an 18-hour video, thank you for tuning in for the longest painting I've ever painted. What if we did this? Occasionally, just go back and let your knife lightly scrape back over and throw in some darker highlights maybe. They don't need to be the black, but you could, or the green I guess you should call it. But they could be darker than than the lighter shadow that I used. Just to indicate little recessed areas even more. Okay, we better stop. I'll be here all night. This place will close down on me. River's already snoozing back behind me. Need to figure out a way to put the dogs on these videos. Can you imagine the popularity of 3 golden retrievers and me painting? Nobody would tune in to watch me anymore, just be watching the dogs. I'm going to lightly just kind of pick up on these. There's barely any paint down there, so I'm not going to worry about tapping this one. Maybe tap it a little bit right there. I want this one to kind of just disappear. Maybe pull it this way a little bit. There we go. I don't want to lose that white canvas. Let that be your friend. There is one big old jaggedy mountain back in there. Now, you guys are in charge here. Let's get back and look at it. Make sure that I don't make the mountains all the same. Okay, I took a little break. Alright, I got another little mountain range here. I think we can go pretty dark for this one. We'll make the last one pure color. So your color that we started with here is really dark. This will be almost that dark. Almost that dark, see? But it's not. It's not exactly the same. And this little mountain just kind of has its little head. Again, I don't worry if it's the same exactly. This little head is poked right above here. Just kind of scratch it out a little bit. I'm gonna grab a book here. Look at it. Okay, there we go. That helps. We know we got that, and it's pretty flat. It kind of comes in like that, and then it's got some juts up in here, little hills, kind of like that. I'm horrible at copying exactly. I guess that's somewhat a good thing, I think. Oh, don't like what I just did. But we'll live with it. I got that peak and that peak lined up. That looks awful. We'll live with it. And we'll say it's a little mistake that we can live with. Let that be kind of flatter right in there. There we go. Okay. A little jut back in there. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the same. And I'm not even going to try to be the same here. Just let that go off like that for now. And then I'll decide what I want to do with it. It's my world, right? All kinds of little things happening. It don't have to be perfect. There. Good enough. Find my brush here that's not too bad. And I'll hold this so it doesn't make too much noise. Just kind of brush this out a little bit. I don't want to bring it down too low. I want to kind of keep it pretty much where it's at right there. We can have this one can go in front. Can make all these decisions. You've heard that all before, right? But it is true. It's kind of like me. I just kind of decided to not worry about what this looks like as far as the shape and just get this on here. I wanted it to knock that one back, and it did. Maybe not perfect. I don't know if I'm going to have a little cliff there or not. We'll say it's a cliff. How about that? That'll work for it if we want it. And then what we can do there is actually, just so you can see it, this one actually come through that cliff. So that's a little bit behind this one. I'm okay with that. You can leave it pretty much like that. If you got sneaky, and sometimes it's good to be sneaky, maybe just kind of diffuse this bottom here. I don't want to ever see this one kind of comes straight down, but I'll kind of set that in some mist and fog, maybe. Brush big strokes over it so we don't see those circles. Use that whole brush, almost using the side of it at this point. I want that to even just kind of disappear into nothing. There we go. All right. Let's keep rocking. I don't know if we can keep rolling though. You came for the paintings and stayed for the really bad jokes. If that can even be considered a joke. This paint's breaking really nice. Wherever we see a little place for a mountain goat, gotta have it. This painting will look good if once you finish it, throw in some fallen snow. Maybe overkill, but I think it will look good. I don't think I'll do it though. I don't want you to be disappointed when I don't. Get a little bit on top of that little ridge there. See, that is one little ridge that's coming down through there. Well, that got bright, didn't it? Sometimes that paint just comes off a little faster than you expect. And it's fun. That looks like it sticks up off the canvas, and that's all you're wanting. You know, Bob does this where he just kind of runs the knife and finishes. I like to take the knife around the canvas and just kind of deposit paint. Same kind of method, I'm just doing it a lot slower. Alright, let's just kind of see what we want here. Yeah, I don't want that. Being careful here. Sometimes when you get careful, you make mistakes. What I'm wanting right here may be a mistake. And I can always scrape it off if I don't like it. I want it to look like there's a little ridge right in here somewhere. Kind of sloping down this direction, just barely. It's barely there. Hope y'all can see that. I don't know if I like that or not. Put a little more bright snow right on top of it. Now I'm not even going to put any dark down there. That's where they walked. This is an exact coordinates right here. If we got the coordinates for the Lord of the Rings, you know, folks walking on that mountain, that's it right there. I'm certain of it. I would not tell tales. I can almost hear Sam and Frodo and Gandalf and all the others frolicking there as they're almost being killed by the snow and ice falling there. Painted a really bleak picture, didn't I? I'm gonna make a little cliff back here. Cliffs are a little different. You just kind of pull down. I might have to go through this. This will look better here in a second. I think. It may not. There's no guarantees. You can even have a little cliff, have a little bit of an angle there. While we're thinking about it, we can probably darken up our other shadow color we were using, but not much. Go ahead and just throw some over here. Maybe too dark. I think it'll work. We've got a bigger mountain coming, guys. So we don't... What's happening there really doesn't matter. You can always... This is in the shadow. Enough, just kind of pull down and just kind of leave little places like that, and then with just a tiny bit of snow, maybe there's a little bit kind of spilling over. We're going to bring this all through here, and it's going to come together, I promise you. You're doubting me at this point. Oh, one in my sky. Finger saved today. I need a little bit on this. That's all I need. Now I need a little bit of dark back in here. And again, I don't know that the lighting's right on this painting. I'm just following a master here at it. I think the light source is right there. But who am I to say? Just a little bit spilling over. That's cold. I like that. Now, watch this. If this will work. Brighten that up a little bit. We're going to cross your fingers, okay? This needs more something. It needs to be darker or it needs to be lighter. I'm going to make it a little lighter, actually, and see what this looks like. I'm going to push that little ridge all the way back behind that one. Just by doing that. Go right through there. You're not going to see this part up here in a minute anyway. So I want to make sure that that is behind that. Snow, snow, snow. Oh, there's some shadows in there, maybe. Leave this kind of textured. Well, shadows here. Maybe they swoop back. You get the swoops. You pull a little bit of the snow or the little bit of the shadow into the snow. That's a little nicer, actually. You can make a little valley here very easily. Because sometimes light's going to spill over. Sometimes you're going to see dark in your highlights. I know that might not make sense, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing. It's okay if a little bit of that mixes together. It actually looks better that way. Variations and all that good stuff. Don't listen to me, I'm not a professional. Try it out for yourself. See what you think. If you ever don't like that, all you gotta do is do this. You say, oh, I messed something up. I put shadows on my highlights. Oh, and you just keep going back and forth, until you get tired of doing that. I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit further, even though there's no dark. I just don't want it to look like it ends right there. Something like that. Maybe a little brighter right here. A little brighter spot. Yeah. I think that's gonna work okay. Yeah. I'm gonna take a little dark now and go back over a little bit. Just to help. Pick up a little bit of dark and light and all that good stuff. Where else we want something right there? Yep, went too low. Went too low. I don't know that I like that, so I'm getting rid of it. The little ridgy area that I put. So I'm gonna turn it into a shadow. We'll put some snow back, maybe. Over it a little bit here. We can also put a lot of green in my snow. Just kind of cover it a little bit. Let it come down there. I see what I need to do with it. If it'll work. I just didn't like the shape of it. There. Another little peak on that mountain. Now see, I don't mind that. What I don't like is that it's got too much green in it right in there, and it's going to get really thick. So I'm going to try to bring it out a little bit. There, that's okay. It's good enough that we can live with it, isn't it? And you're like shaking your head, no. Just looking at that area in case I need to do anything. I think it's good. Let's just keep moving. This is probably 3 hours already. So we're going to just tickle these and give these a little pull up. 2 hairs, 2 3/4, whatever. Brush is getting really nasty. May have to give it a good wash here. I'll tell you one thing I might like. I'm getting low. I'm really low. Lower than I'd like to be. So I'm just going to kind of lightly work in this area. chunk right there. Let's just pull it out. Create that a little bit like it's going down into a misty valley. It would be a valley. It's probably too. There we go. See, like, look at that. Just pull it right through there. Let's see something else we can do that might look nice. So let's do it. Just gonna bring this one out a little bit. This one's a little closer, so it would be a little darker right in there. And then we can take our brush. I don't know if it's trees or what we'd start getting in here. But I like it. I don't want to get much lower than that though. Okay. We got a safe brush here. Even though it's kind of dirty, it's still pretty white. Pretty clean. Let's just kind of mist all this out real quick. Even this. Yeah, there we go. And Bram's going to pause it and take a little break. Okay, I've had my break. Tom, sorry, probably clapped right in the microphone. You know, this is a big canvas. Can you imagine painting something like this in 27 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes? You could do it, no doubt. It's been done. But would it look right? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull a sneaky here. I'll wipe this filbert off here. I've really been meaning to do this a little more to get some variation in my mountain shape. It's like I've got knife memory. I guess I should say it's like I got knife memory lock. All my mountains kind of look the same. It feels like I'm locked into one shape. A little bit different there. But this one, my goodness, this is a big one. But what you don't want to lose, you don't want to lose any of these. You'll be able to see everything. So if you start tall, you can. So you kind of start tall, and then you'd have another little mountain peak here, and I'm just kind of laying this out so I can kind of get around everything here. Then you're going to have another peak here somewhere, and then it just kind of comes in, comes down, comes down, comes down. Probably goes out, and then you've got some peaks in here. So you've got a peak here, maybe. I'm not going to use the fan of the filbert here to paint the mountain. I'm just kind of throwing it in with this. Make sure I get some variations in there. And it's easy to get locked into the same kind of type of shape for a mountain. I know. I've done it. I do it all the time. And we could even let it come back up over here and then kind of finish out. You know, something like that. I mean, that's fun. Not exactly what I'm looking at here. I've got a book over here I'm looking at. And I'm just playing around anyway, so who cares? Pretty much. Big old mountain. With some color, we'll smooth that all out. And this time I'm using pretty much that straight color. The key here was just trying to get around all of that stuff so I didn't lose anything that I worked hard to put in there. Gonna lose a little bit, you don't want to lose much. And you do want this to be quite dark. Quite dark here. And we can even have little things in there. dark. And this mountain, even over here, needs a little more. Yeah. Excuse me. The darker this is, it'll just automatically start pushing that stuff back. That's kind of what you're going for. Smearing that on there, smushing it in. The one thing we want is we want some water down in here so we cannot bring this mountain all the way down. If we do, it won't work out. And we'll be crying in our drink tonight. Okay? Just be aware. So you're figuring, I'm just going to kind of lay that out right now. We want enough water to kind of have, it's going to kind of run like this. Right around through here. Maybe something like that. It's not a huge amount of water that you see in the painting. And then it kind of runs out through here. Alright. Now we got to scrape this off, don't we? Forgot. Bad that I can forget any steps. I've watched some people not even scrape this off. Just kind of brush it right in. And it works. I guess if you got really good paint, you can make whatever work. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to take it off there. But I'm going to try to take some of this off because I put a lot. I put a lot. Trying to get that dark. That's good enough. Let's just try it. And we'll use our brush here that we've been using. Dance with the one that brought you here. And again, I'm keeping it shallow. Envisioning some water down in here. I'm going to scoot closer to the canvas. And I don't know why I got sing-songy, but I did. You have to deal with it. Starts looking better when you smooth it out, doesn't it? Well, I love that. Yours probably looks really good. This edge should come down a little further than that one. Don't ask me why. It's because I want it to. I don't want to see the canvas over there. I'm not really worried about things. I'll lay it out as I want to here. There we go. I think that'll work. Looks a little rough, but it will work. Find my knife, clean it off. This paper towel here. Got our knife clean. Notice my nice orange handles. Kind of makes the brushes fit my hand a little better. Now, I'm going to do this, and you may not see the whole painting at this point, but I'm going to bring this peak in front of my face. You can probably figure out why. May not have taken enough of the paint off, picking up a lot of it. We'll live with it. We will live with it. Pretty much. Come on, I gotta get more paint. It's gotta stick a little bit. Look at those big runs. I don't like this mountain already. They work a little bit of magic here. If there's any to be worked. It's the way I've got it laid out, it doesn't look quite right. I think get some shadows in it may be okay. Yeah. Maybe. I'm not sold yet. Like that mountain, you're doing everything the same. Yeah, that's the way it looks like on the reference to me. So, kind of sticking with it. Got to be pretty bright. And always go right over your edge and clean things up later if you need to brighten it back up. There is no special technique needed here. The only thing you need is patience. And just use this knife and get used to it. Talk to it. Say sweet things in its ears. You know, that kind of stuff. See, those peaks look better than these things. But they don't look great. So we'll probably brighten those edges up just by letting the paint go right outside and covering that dark edge. I don't like seeing a dark edge. That just looks odd on those mountains. Alright. We still have to paint trees. We got water. I think it'll be like a 2-hour special. The exciting conclusion. Same bat time, same bat channel. Same bat, oh, better not say a bad word, crazy guy sitting here painting. I really do love this color though. It's quite nice. Don't ask me what just happened, because I don't know. That looks a little better. Going out some of these bottom hills might actually make it stand out a little bit. Well, if we did that, it's kind of like those two kind of just live together. You can let that paint be chunky. A lot of people think that's smooth. That paint doesn't need to be smooth. It can be chunky. Just like peanut butter. Some people like smooth or creamy. Some people like chunky. And some people like me, you know, I like both. Chunky peanut butter is pretty good. If I'm in a mood for chunky peanut butter, you know. What am I even talking about? I have lost my mind. Alright, I'm going to make up another batch of shadow color here. It's going to be lighter than what's up here. Hopefully. That's not light enough. Goodness. Oh, this is going to work nice. This should look nice. Yep. Yep. Oh, that's starting to look okay. I think. Put some in here maybe. I want it bright. I want to look. That go seem odd. I'm gonna make it even brighter. Now, if you got fancy, you could have 2 or 3 colors in here. That's how a real mountain looks. You don't have one shadow color. But that requires work on my part, so don't expect it. I know that Steve always likes to put some dark down after he's got his mountain back, got his snow on. He'll put some dark back down and let it break, and then he puts some lighter color over that, and it looks really like it's got a lot of depth. So instead of that one color that I have, he's got 2 or 3 kind of showing. And it looks good. Of course, that old guy can paint a mountain, right? Remember, the website's on the channel. There's still a few seats for that second week here. You can come and paint with me. Man, isn't that exciting? Come paint with me. But really, paint with Steve. I'll be around helping out. I may throw a little paint on the canvas too. We'll leave the mountains though, so somebody knows what they're doing. And it's starting to come out a little bit. The shadows really helped. Yeah, I like every mountain except this one. Not every mountain I ever did. I mean, these are all fine. They look nice. This one is a little bit odd looking to me. Like, it's so in your face. It's not far enough away. It's not observing social distancing guidelines here at all. Yeah, that's what's throwing me off. Back up mountain or put a mask on, I guess. I don't know. Bringing it in there. Laying it in. Coming in hot here. Another one of those opportunities here to have a nice little fun. Just kind of create a little... I hit my knife right. Let a little bit of your bright snow creep over into your shadow. Maybe even kind of like that. See that? And then we'll bring some shadow back in our bright snow. All right. Here. And a little bit right here. I'll finish that out. Not making up enough shadow color, I know that. Well, it's getting there. It's getting there, but there's so much still to go on this painting. I can throw the water in quick. I'll guarantee you that. I guarantee you the water won't take me long. Sorry, my head's in the way. Let's just throw a little bit right there for funsies. Right in there. Shoot, can y'all see that? Not really, can you? I can probably bring us back a little bit this way now. That get us back in frame pretty much. Yes, it did. Okay. All right. Well, it's making me cold. I know that. Right in there. Finally out of white. I put a lot of white out. And I finally ran out. What I wanted to do is just make sure that those edges are nice and bright, even if they smush together a little bit. Alright, gotta get some white. I have plenty of the other color left for inquiring minds like you. Yeah, it helps to clean your knife if you want to keep it bright white. That's a pro tip. That one's fun. This is really thick. I don't know. I think I didn't remember how I was kind of nonchalant or cavalier here about that base color. I think I should have taken more of it off. It looks fun, but it's a little odd. Okay, that's fine. A little bit right in there. Don't know what that looks like. That's fine. We can always a little bit of light zinging across here. Never be scared to do this. I don't know if this will show up. Take a little bit of white. Let that white kind of come across. Doesn't really show up there. You know what I mean. I can tell. You guys are smart. There we go. There we go. Man, that's a big old mountain, isn't it? Really? There. It's got to have that nice bright peak. Chunky, man. You don't want to walk up in that. Okay. I'm going to call it. I may tinker with it a little bit here at the end. I'm going to just kind of tap lightly in here. Just see what happens. Remember, I gotta save room for some water. I'm losing my room. I'm just kind of lightly pulling this. I'm not even going to tap it that much. Just kind of pull it like that. Maybe. I hate the noise. Even if I had something here, it would still be kind of noisy. I want this to... I want to start looking like little hills. Oh no, I got an idea. More paint. Make that happen. Here we go. Got it now, guys. Where's that end? I'm changing it a little bit, but my paintings, or sort of my painting, I guess. I don't normally paint along with others. I just don't. I used to when I started out, of course. I get inspired by a lot of folks, but I don't normally take what I see somebody else do and try to paint theirs, or not anymore. Like I said, I used to. I'm just getting crazy here, so just bear with me. There we go. All right. That'll be one little tree line there. I like the 1 inch for this, by the way. So use whatever. Now, the person that is inspired for this painting put huge evergreens right here. That would be, I mean, like 3,000 foot evergreens. I don't understand why. We're not going to do that. We're going to have evergreens, but we're not going to have them right there. That's why I'm creating these little tree, we'll call it the timber line, right in here to give it a little something. Far distant trees. We don't want trees that would scare little children. Same thing here. I want a little hill. All coming into that water. There's water in here. All coming into this water. We'll highlight these a little bit probably, or at a minimum, pull them up. Coming into that water. There we go. Now just go get noisy for a minute. That'll work. Okay. That's fine. Wipe this brush off a little bit. And before we forget, we need to make sure there's not gonna be water over there, but I'm gonna throw a reflection there. Pull them down here. Pull straight down. Gotta pull straight down. You can change the angle of your land at this point. You can get more water at this point. Like I said, there's not gonna be water over here, but we're gonna put that there. What I'm hoping, and I don't think I do, I was hoping I had another 2-inch brush back here. I really like to take a clean brush when I pull down once, and I'll pull again with a cleaner brush. That way your lines don't keep getting huge. Over here won't matter. We got land that lives over here. Right now we're just kind of playing. You never know when I'll look at something and say, nope, that's not how I'm going to do it. That's the way I'd encourage you to be. Don't get set. Don't set your sights on one way of doing a painting. Just gotta keep playing around with it. I wish I had not put these in here. We can get rid of them. Look here. Knock them into the canvas a little bit. It's starting to look like water. A little bit. Cold water, right? Well, you better bring a snow coat for this area. And then you can even strengthen these a little bit. And that's nice. Depends on how much time you want to take on a painting. Some people probably look at mine and say that you took too long for what it is. But if I enjoy it, it doesn't matter. Another thing to hang on the wall, I guess. I don't think anybody will want to buy this one. Alright. And then again, just kind of take that brush and however much you think it needs. We'll clean up just a little bit there. A little more detail in the water. Okay. We've tinkered enough with our water. It's cold. That's the main ingredient for water for here. for this land. If you wanted to, you could pull these up a little bit. Don't go crazy. And make sure you pull straight up. You pull at an angle, you pull sideways, it'll look like a hurricane. And if you pull too hard, just like I did, you'll get one that's really big. Distant little tree lines there. It's a little detail, sometimes it'll make it stand out to somebody and say, that's nice. And then sometimes they say, that's awful. And then you're like, oh, my heart. All right. Sometimes I'll take that brush and turn it this way and pull through and get a clump of trees. So they don't all look the same. Since you're pulling them up, they kind of start looking the same. And again, I'm not putting huge evergreens back in here. This one will likely get a highlight. Like some snow living on this little chunk of land here, maybe. But for right now, I'm just going to kind of pull it up. Okay. Yeah. That'll work. That will work. What else do we have to put in this painting? Too dang much. One thing you can do here is it looks nice. As soon as I find my knife again. There it is. You can do this with a brush too. Small roll of white. And you can just kind of go up in here and add some little snow in these little areas behind these little tree lines. Getting this with the brush if this is easier. Like that. I don't really want any there, but I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're just going to add some snow to like the banks. Kind of pull it across there. That'll cool it down. There's no global warming here at my lake. I'm kidding, by the way. Yeah. Really, it looks better if you kind of just smush it in there and move it around a little bit. Kind of like that. Don't think of it as like trying to put it on like a mountain, because I'm not going to put a highlight over it. That's going to be the land. That's way yonder back there. It is way yonder back there. Just kind of pull it. Let it be. Maybe a little divot up in there. A little hideaway. I'll go ahead and just put a little bit over here. This will get hidden over here. I'm not worried about that side. Got a big clump of land that lives right in front of all this. And I don't want my water coming like that anyway, so. Literally, you can just work that knife. A little bit more right there. Something like that. See, that's a little chunky. This area is kind of like me. It's a little chunky. There we go. Same thing here. It's a little chunky. Let's go smooth it out a little bit. Knock it up into the trees a little bit. Okay. Good. Are we still recording? We're in an hour and 30 minutes. What is this? It's not too bad. Or this 2x3 painting, I guess. Who knows? Okay. Ow. One thing we need back here is a water line. Clean my knife off. Grab a little bit of this. Ooh, that's too much. Just a little bit back in there. I got way yonder too much. Right there. Let's just get rid of that. Let's knock that down. This water lines are the easiest thing to get rid of. No joke. The correction effort on a water line is almost too easy. There. Well, even though that's white, if you put this on here kind of thick, you can let it go up in that land. It'll still look like water. It'll look like cold, icy water. And this is kind of the way I'm going to do it. And really, this lake kind of comes around. We're going to put a piece of land right there. And over here too, so. And we'll kind of throw another water line in here at the end. For now, that's enough. What do I want to do next? Again, I'm not putting the big evergreen trees there, but we will put the ones on the left and the right. So we'll clean our knife, grab some dark paint, and it's going to go right through my little nice mountain peak that I really like. So I'm going to change it and we'll put it right here. We're going to do this with a knife. Where's this? Yeah, we got a little water. So the little water runs out this way. And we can put a little bit of a indication of a tree there. And then we'll just kind of start working the paint. You need a lot of paint. I'm not using enough. I have only painted with the knife, painted trees with a knife like once. And I didn't really care for it, but I'm trying it again. Yeah, I'm not caring for that. Why am I not having success here? There we go. I'll do it a little differently. I don't mind the way it looks, but it's odd. But I got so much snow back there too. That is not helping. It's actually picking up and acting like a highlight. You see that? The tree's actually looking pretty good. I'm doing it a little differently than I did it the other time I did it. A little thick right there. You don't want to really probably don't want to do it the way I'm doing it. If I'm being truthful, because I'm kind of dragging the knife. You can just kind of set it on here and just kind of, go with it and just daub it on here. But it's working nice the way I'm doing it, so I'm going to keep doing it that way. I like the looks of it. building a knife with a tree. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thunk it? And I'm really liking the way these are angled down like that. That looks really nice. Oop, see, that's too much. I have to make this kind of thick at the bottom here. That's kind of liking it thin. That's okay. It'll work. It'll all come out in the wash here, won't it? Very, very thick texture. Goodness gracious. Yeah. That's hard work. I can see why Bob didn't do these very often like this. Hey, my arm's getting tired up there. Of course, I've been painting a while. So, there's that. You do want this to stay kind of dark because we're going to put a highlight. We're going to put a highlight and a shadow side. What do we do here? Raise that up a little bit. That's probably good, I think. But here's the issue. We got to paint a couple. We got to paint 3. Besides the time it takes to do those, I love the look of that tree. In the morning, I may be like, oh Lord, that's awful. But I guess now I have to try knife painting. I didn't think I'd ever do that. It's super thick though. And we're going to put a buddy. I want to save that peak. So I'm not going to have the buddy right next door. They've had a little squabble. And goodness, where can I put this? I should have scooted it over. Oh, this one's going to be the smaller one on this side. It's going to look odd. Decisions, guys. This is where I was painting with people, like you can tell me. Make it a little thicker there. Okay. See, I would like to have it right here. And I'm not going to make it as tall. I shouldn't have made that one as tall. So I'm going to just kind of envision it. It'll probably go right off the canvas. And it's going to land about the same spot because we're going to put some land under it. Give it a nice little top. And just start working it. Get into my mountain again. A lot of paint. A lot of paint and a lot of patience. Which is what I typically don't have. I made up so much of that color, I am not even close to out. Isn't that good? Aren't you guys proud? I want to get it kind of thick down here. To kind of close off that side of that canvas. This one's a better looking tree. Hopefully my highlight will save this one. And what happens down here doesn't really matter. We got land. 2 different trees, that's for sure. You can see this one made this one made that one move because it didn't look very good. Like, get away from me. You're making me look bad. No, that tree wouldn't be that mean. I don't think. way I'm kind of pulling that knife is exactly how we're going to put a little highlight on these guys. Okay, we'll use our shadow snow color. Just a little bit. And since our... Goodness, it doesn't make any sense. Since our highlights on the mountain is on the right side, our shadow here on the trees will be on the left side. And our highlight will be on the right again. Painting trees this way might actually help you paint mountains. Because you cannot put any pressure here, you'll lose any of the work you did on your tree. So if you're struggling with a mountain, try some trees like this. See how that color's just breaking? Hopefully my head's not in the way. And hopefully my hair doesn't look awful. It's been known to look pretty bad lately. So, there. Okay. I got an even better idea. I don't know if it's a better idea, but I don't know if it'll show up or not. A little bit of a snowy trunk there in the middle. Well, this is honestly one of the funnest things I've done in a while. Painting trees with a knife. I tried it one time, I didn't like it. I'm still not sure it's the best way. It doesn't look bad. There you go. There's a perfect example of how light you should be holding that knife. It just fell out of my hand. Like gravity took over and there went my knife. Get all the dog hair out of it. Dog hair out of the paint. Keep working here. I could not. I wish I could do that. Remind myself to just let that happen in a class. That's how little pressure I had on that knife. It just dropped. Or I'm getting tired. I'm going to say it's a good teaching moment. All right. That one be a little different over there, isn't it? This one looks nice. I really like that. Really like it. This one's kind of hampered by the going off the canvas there. What I could do is, I'm losing some of that detail in it here. Put a little dark back, but not too much. Not too much. I think the trunk doesn't help either. Maybe. Hang down. There we go. Yeah, those are fun. Try those if you've never tried them. Seriously, one of the best times I've had painting in a while. And I still got, I can do a couple more over here if I want on the other side. Yeah, I love that one. I mean, I like them both, but that one looks really good. Okay, let's sock in some land here. Sock in some land under these guys. We don't have much to go. We may make the 2-hour mark. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at right now. Better hold this. I'm just using an old round brush. My favorite to use for this kind of thing. much I want there. Got some old snowy bushes in here. That's probably enough. Take our sort of clean brush, not quite. I want to make sure that my tree is reflected somewhat, right? Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget to reflect a tree. Across that. Super careful. Or not, it doesn't really matter. You don't have to be careful, and actually I'm going to put a little bit more back in. I don't like things to be straight across, so kind of want another little layer right in here. Make that'll look nicer, and then kind of let that meander out just a little bit. Trying not to be so perfect. Sometimes I have to remind myself not to be perfect because I'm so good at it. You're like, yeah, right, tell me more. Pulling on Steve on you. Yeah, that's okay. That'll work for now. All right, time for another break. We don't have any sponsors, so this part of the painting is brought to you by Nescafe. I don't know, something like that. Be right back. All right, another break. We're back. I've heard from my sponsors. They fired me. So, looking for more. Painting with two colors shouldn't be this messy. I have a palette of green and it looks black because it's not, and white just everywhere. It's like different variations and oh goodness, crazy. I may need a little bit of some kind of liquid white or something along those lines just to help this stick really well. I've got a clean brush here is what I went to get actually. You may not need it. This white is really thick though. So. And I kind of do want this really bright, so I'm not worried about the white medium here kind of changing it too much. Remember, you can always check your brush to make sure you're not picking up too much of the underpaint. If you are, you're not doing it right. I'm kidding. Just add a little bit more thinner, a little bit more liquid white, whatever you have at hand and at the ready. Add that to your paint. I don't know why I'm being so careful with these bushes. Sometimes they look better when you just go whack, whack, whack. With a little bit of thought. You don't want to just kind of run crazy. But a little crazy is good every now and then. A little crazy. And we can kind of let those come into water. Then it rounds that land a little bit instead of it being straight across. It kind of gives it a little bit of something there. And right in there's a little bit. Oh, come on. Finish this up here. Liquid medium is very thin. Like drippy. Do you need this round brush? No, you don't. You can do this with the one just as well. It's just what I prefer. Alright, you can just kind of... This always gets messy for me. I'll just be honest. It never works the way I'd like it to. It doesn't look right. I've had success a couple times doing mirrored reflections. I mean, putting the color into the water and it looking decent. Normally it just kind of turns into, I don't know, smeared mess. So we are going to try it, and I'm just throwing some of this down here in the water. Doesn't have to match it perfectly. Ah, I needed a clean brush. That's what I needed. This one may work. Let's see. This is basically my liquid white brush. It should work, but it's not very soft. It's one of my old ones. Just kind of 2 hairs and some air there. Just kind of diffuse it a little bit. You know what would probably work? Oh goodness. This may be too soft. Yeah, let's go smear it. Do I have another brush here that I haven't used? That one's pretty soft. That one did it. Now, honestly, probably don't even need to do much of this. Just kind of tickle it. Just let the back of the brush hit that. Don't let the... Hold on one second. I see a spot I don't like. I need a little more down here if I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it right. That would be all the way down there. I'm going a little thick. That's all right. There. That'll be fine. Oh, shoot. I hit liquid white. Well, we'll make this work. You can see it's pretty good there. Knife, a little bit of dark, just kind of like literally just a little bit. May want a little bit of a shore here or something, I don't know. Kind of slanting off like that. And then we pick up some clean white or dirty white, it doesn't matter. We want it to be fairly bright. And just kind of graze. Get a dog hair. If you ever come to my house, just expect to get dog hair everywhere. Because there's always dog hair everywhere. You can't have 3 golden retrievers and not have dog hair. It's physically impossible. Even if you vacuum every single day, twice a day, you're going to have dog hair. You just are. We'll take a little bit of that liquid medium here and just carefully... I don't want to lose all of my little reflections there that I worked on. Carefully kind of saw in a little bit here. It's almost too runny now. As long as we have a little bit of running there, we'll be in good shape. All right. Okay, we're almost there. Because I am not painting a cabin. I hate them. No cabins for me. I'm going to sock some color in here. Almost went too high. It'll get noisy. Plenty of this color, let's use it. Sock it in here. I don't really care that it looks odd right now. There we go. That'll work. A little bit more titanium white. Let's put some bushes in the background before we move to the foreground. When I say foreground, I mean this little area of land here. And if you ever wanted to and felt like it needed it, it probably does. You can always go over here and do this too, scratch in a few. But right now is a good time just to scratch in some little sticks that might be holding up little trees or something. And you can do this afterwards too. It's no big deal to do it either or both. Liquid white, go into my titanium white, and make some little sparklers back there. I think that's about as much as you can sparkle on snow. Little trees or little bushes, whatever they may be. The painting I'm looking at has a cabin. I just don't like cabins. I'm going to scoot this over this way to get these right in front of my face. I never like cabins. And there's a reason. There's a couple reasons. I can paint one. It looks okay. It's not my best thing to paint. I don't think I'd be surprised that I like it as much as those trees. I like my paintings that are I like painting trees and I like painting nature. I don't want to worry about somebody living here. It's one of those places, it's kind of in my head that this is my place. I don't really want anybody finding it and building a place. I want to be able to go there when I want and escape. And if somebody finds it, builds them a cabin, even if it's me, it kind of ruins the scenery. So that's my excuse for not painting a cabin. Okay, just go with me on it. But we do have to have a couple more trees, at least one. I'm just throwing in some bushes here before I run out of time. Everybody goes to bed. All right, let's paint another tree at least. Let's get a big one. Let's do a big one. We're going to bring... So I'm going to put a stick tree here. So I'm going to bring a big tree. Shoot. Heck. Man, do I want to do that? I'm going to bring a big tree right through that mountain. It's my world. So I'm going to do it. A little roll of knife on my roll of knife. That makes a lot of sense. A little roll of paint here. And I'm just going to run this down. That's a big tree. Just so I know where this thing lands. Right there. And the only part that we're really worried about is that top. Make a nice top. And then we just kind of... Oh, there's going to be a bad glare. Sorry guys, you might see a bad glare. And this knife still has dog hair on it. So like I said, you can't escape it. It may add some cool texture to the trees. Now here's one thing we know is going to happen, right? We know as I come down through here, I'm going to pick up snow from the mountain. The only thing you want to make sure of is if it's really bad, go back over and kind of hide a little bit of it, because you want this tree to be pretty dark. You want to stand out. Because if it's too light when you paint it now, you're not going to be able to highlight it. Almost looks like a cedar tree, maybe? I don't know, when you kind of pull the branches kind of come like this. We had a big cedar tree break. The last snow broke the top of it, right out of it. It was a pretty tree too. It's a pretty mature tree. Karen thought it wouldn't weigh much, so she tried to move the top one day without me. She decided that the top of that tree is pretty heavy. See how it's picking that up? Just kind of go back, add gobs of paint over it. Now is not the time to be stingy with her paint. And this big tree, being as big as that mountain, I don't mind because this one is close to me. The original painting had trees right here, right next to the mountain that were that big. The perspective did not look right. These are fun. I'm gonna do a knife painting. I'll have to rest up though. But I've enjoyed just gobbing the paint on here. Good Lord, this paint is gonna be heavy. Like really heavy. About right there. What do you think? Or does it come on down? Who knows? You can add so much texture with this knife that you cannot add with the paintbrush. It's just fun. I have officially used up all the dark paint, so that means the painting is pretty much done at this point. No cabin. I originally thought I might do the cabin, but I'm skipping it. My prerogative. Again, we'll break out some Bobby Brown if you need to. Alright, a little bit of a shadow on this side. Just again, no pressure on that knife. Pretend you're holding a Fabergé egg. Well, you don't want to drop that, so you might want to think of something a little different. And if you don't know what a Fabergé egg is, look it up. Oh, picking up the dark. Can't be a highlight if it doesn't go over the dark. That looks so nice. I don't want to lose all the dark though. Over there it doesn't matter as much, but where there's so much snow right in here, you'll lose that tree if we're not careful. Let's see, we'll lose that tree. Just a little bit. Nice little bright highlight. Can y'all hear River snoring behind me? It's not a squeaky chair tonight, it's my dog snoring. That looks so good. I'll probably hate this in the morning, like I told you, but for now, I love that. It looks like a tree. It looks better than a painted tree to me. Because it's new, probably. Never do them this way. Time you try something a little new, it always, yeah, I love it. Love it. If you ever did do one and you're like, well shoot, covered up all my dark, go back. There's some little dark pockets in there. Keeping in mind the shape of that tree. How it's angled. How you painted it. Down in here it could be really dark. So like that. Yeah. A little more titanium white. Like I said, I don't want a cabin, but I'm going to put some snow on this side. The cabin was condemned by the Lake Authority. And while I said that kind of jokingly, it just gives me an excuse not to paint a cabin. I do feel that way. I don't want people in my world sometimes. That's not you guys. It's just if I'm out in nature, I enjoy being in nature. I don't want to have to worry about Trapper John here. So we'll change this up a little bit and just not put a cabin, but we'll put some snow for sure. I like this thick snow, this pretty much like a mountain without having to put a mountain down, a mountain base. You just put the dark down and just kind of smear some snow on here lightly. Again, you're not really smearing it, just kind of letting the knife bounce a little bit. Pretty much just like painting a mountain. Yeah. And sometimes you look at it and you're like, oh, should have done that. I don't like that it came up into my bushes too far, so I might fix that. I like seeing the dark. We didn't lose all of that. If I've got a touch of dark left, I got a little area here that could use a couple little bushes would look nice, I think. I hope y'all can hear that. My baby is snoring. All right. I like that. It's kind of sparse. Let's see here. Got our dark brush, but we don't have any dark paint left. Oh, I got a little bit. Found some. Even if I wanted to paint a cabin, I don't have paint. I ain't mixing any up. We're gonna darken that. I noticed on my break that I have paint on my forehead. You guys didn't tell me. It's a lot of paint on my forehead. And this paint, again, is giving me the sniffles. Alright. I was hoping to be done in under 2. This is going to take forever to upload to YouTube. Good Lord. I guess I'll just do it. Probably let it go while I go to bed tonight. It is about 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm good for staying up till about 2 probably. Most nights. I've always been a night owl. I don't know if you guys would know. Have you ever seen the comedian Benny Hill? My grandfather, Papa, would let me. He was a night owl. He would stay up and we'd watch Benny Hill together. Now, as a 7, 8-year-old kid, I didn't know why it was funny. But I did laugh. I understand Benny Hill a little better these days. I understand that I probably shouldn't have been watching it when I was that young. We need a little stick tree still. And I don't like this. I don't like this, so real quick, because what does it matter if you go over 2 hours? My video, right? I want a couple little bushes over here or something. Okay, well, I was gonna say I could put a rock, but it wouldn't show up. It needs something besides all that snow. Just a little bit of dark there. Go to our light brush. Paint. Put a couple of bushes over here maybe. That's a little better. I wouldn't mind the snow. Actually, yeah, I think I'll do that. Creeping back behind these. That might not look bad. I just needed a little bit of a break. Yeah. There we go. There's a little bit of a break there instead of it all being snowy and rocky. We'll walk right there and break out a script liner brush here. Or we could find my knife, clean it off. And if I can find some dark, probably just be easier. Oh, right there. I'm gonna put just a little indication of a tree. I didn't want that big. I don't know what happened there. Might have to put an evergreen. We'll need some paint thinner for the first time tonight, but not the last. I still have to clean brushes. Alright. Try to find some of that dark color. I'm getting low, but I think I got enough here somewhere. There we go. A little bit of paint thinner. Actually, a good bit of paint thinner. Because we're going through a lot of snowy mountains back there, aren't we? I'm hoping I can salvage this tree. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I didn't condition. Here's a tip. Always condition your brushes. I didn't last time, and my brush is a little wonky today. Guys, we're going to have to do another evergreen there. It's where my knife went wild on me. What we will do here is, before we do that, we'll just kind of actually put a little white in here. Tone this down a little bit. Or tint it, I guess. Oh yeah, I might have to get a brush. I don't know if I can get that close enough for you guys to see. And I don't think... Aha! I didn't think, but I do. You know me, I always like to have a couple of sticks and twigs, so... Liquid white all over my hands. Let's go ahead and throw these in. Oh, there we go. That'd be wild today. Like that. One kind of light with these. And we'll get it. Oh, shoot. I don't think I can fix this. And I'm okay to not fix it. You know, I can't fix that. See how it starts here and it's way over here. I mean, would you really notice it? Maybe not. It's one of those happy accidents, I guess. Actually, I'm pretty unhappy about it. If I have to be honest. Do I have to be honest? I guess I'll be honest. I'm unhappy about it. You know, we just throw some little lines in here that might look like a little bit of grass or something kind of coming out. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, sometimes the perfect things don't look right. I also say it's hard for me not to be perfect, so take what you want from that, I guess. So this script liner brush is not working great. I did not condition these. You should always learn from my mistakes, and I know better. Always condition your script liners. You can use baby oil, it's fine. Because you're going to usually put it in thinner and clean it afterwards or before you use it again. You can use some kind of oil just to kind of keep them nice and loose. And that will make them work a little nicer, last a little longer, all that good stuff. Now the problem is here, I'm going to pause this. Okay, we're going to put another tree here. I had to mix up some color. I was out. Told you I was happy that I made that color last. And then calamity befell us. Let's hope this will work, because I've got paint thinner on here now. We're going to make it work. There's no worries with that. Don't think negative. Golly, I'm using a lot of paint. This is going to be so long to dry. The problem I've got now, guys, is I have 4, and you can do these up trees too. You got 4 trees like this. I'm going to have to do another one. I may end the video and then throw another one in. I don't want you guys like, who's watching this anyway? It's a 2-hour long special that's not very special. It's the 2-hour long unspecial version. But if you are watching it, go to bed. Of course, you may be watching it during the day and you don't need a nap. I don't know. I want this one to be a little wider at the bottom, just kind of like I did the others. Kind of go one way and go back the other. And then just make sure, kind of fill it in there. Where I gotta sit. Well, I'll tell you what, it would look good if this one come down a little bit lower, actually, because I don't want them on the same plane of the painting. And this is, I've got an idea to make me even like the painting more. Just take a little longer to do it. There we go. I love those kind of trees. And we'll play around with different styles, right? You don't want to just do one. My shadow. Kind of hitting. Gotta go grazing down through there. You don't need much. Hope you can see that there's a little bit. Not much. Again, we don't really need a lot. And then our highlight just kind of grazes on the other side. It follows those angles of those branches. You probably want to let that highlight kind of go over the middle a little bit sometimes. You don't want to look like you just kind of cut the tree off in half. See that? And right in there, maybe. We got heavy down in there, didn't it? And then you can always, like I said, go back. If you lose a little bit, just put it back in. That looks pretty good. That looks good. I'm going to put one right here. And it's going to come all the way down the canvas. Get ready. And then we'll be done, I promise. If you have suffered through this video this long, you know the end is near. So we'll go back to our Lord of the Rings reference. Frodo's there. At Mordor, he's getting ready to throw the ring and he changes his mind. Gollum is fighting him. This tree is pretty much when Gollum bites off Frodo's finger. Right here. This is what's happening. It's all the way down. Pretty Pretty graphic description, I know. Alright, hello again. I have 9 minutes to finish this because that's all storage I've got left on my phone and what happened before, so there's going to be a little cut in the video. I've sat here so long painting that my phone just died. So we got to get at it here. I'm raising that tree a little bit there. I want this one to be pretty big. And it's almost too similar to that one, so I'm going to raise it up just a little bit more. Put a little top on it. I may actually just finish this off camera. My phone may die again. Let's charge it up a little bit. I even turned my light off here. River was saying, "Dad, can you turn the light off? I'm trying to sleep." So I'll just paint with my trusty Walmart light here. Somebody asked me where I got my light. It's a Walmart special. Nothing fancy. It's LED. Probably doesn't give off the best quality light for this, but you know, it puts a little bit of light on the subject, right? I'm cheap. I am cheap. You can tell that by, man, starting to look at vehicles. I'm driving a 2005, guys, because it just keeps going. So I'm very cheap, but I'm going to need to get a vehicle soon. My neighbor doesn't help with that. He's a mechanic, great guy, and he just told me early. He said, "Well, we can keep working on this one." So may just keep it. Who knows? We'll lose some of those bushes, but that's okay. I like that it's going to be a little darker over here in this corner, and I'll cut that mountain off a little bit for us. Picking up that highlight, not meaning to. One thing I can't see without my light on is what color paint I'm picking up. I'm just going to take that all the way down. It's off the canvas. Let's make it good and dark down here, though. Let's hurry for our camera says, or my phone. One of these days, guys, I might spend money on a camera. But I think, honestly, and you tell me, as we're wrapping up here, marathon painting session, I think the quality of the video is actually pretty good for a dang phone. Just think if they'd shot some of these painting shows like Bob Ross on this kind of camera. The quality would be so much nicer. And it's a phone. So, you know. Alright, let's highlight that, or let's give her a shadow here. Get a little color mixed up. Get a little bit going on here. Get no pressure. No pressure. If you use pressure, it just smushes it all back together, which is fine. If you don't like it, that's one way to get rid of it. My shadow color. That shadow is really pretty. Again, this green, if you're looking for a really pretty green, Prussian blue. I use burnt umber, so it's really pretty. I might have to get some white out. See if I can make that work. It's got liquid white in it. It's a little thin. If that's the case, you definitely can't use any pressure. It'll make a big mess here for sure. Yeah. Almost there. We're almost home. I might even have time to throw a signature on here. I don't know. We'll be close. A bit more up there. It could be a little darker down here. Doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah. Okay. Let's do a signature. I got a spot right over there for it. I did take advantage of that time that my phone was trying to come back on and clean some brushes. So I'm not going to be sitting here all night cleaning brushes. That's a good thing. I'm going to sign in the right hand corner tonight. They usually sign in the left, but let's just change it. That signature's awful. Usually well, not always, but usually the worst thing on the painting. Try not to get it too big anymore. I don't know why I didn't move it a little closer. But that's fun. Alright, guys. Marathon painting. Let's see if we can get you a straight on shot here. Alright, there's a straight on shot of the big monstrosity. Lots of white. So 3 colors. Again, if you count white as a color. Titanium white. I use burnt umber and Prussian blue. And that burnt umber mixture to get that nice green, which it looks blue on the camera probably, but it's kind of a greenish. Is about a 2-to-1. More, so 2 browns to 1 Prussian blue. We'll get you that nice green. Alright, I'll see you guys in a few days. We may do a knife painting. That was fun. Alright, take care, my friends. Hope everybody's safe. If you're in the path of any ice or snow or COVID, whatever, be safe. Stay well, be kind to each other. And I'll see you in a few days.